Mr. President, any comment?
What next is support for Ukraine? What next is support for Ukraine?
Well, if my Republican colleagues don't fund Ukraine, they're going to have an awful lot of to pay for.
This is my video update on this Sunday morning, January the 14th. Let's talk about some news. And so I woke up early this Sunday morning and I went for a drive. And I came out to the Salt Lake, and much to my surprise, I was greeted by the beautiful flamingos at the Salt Lake. Finally caught the flamingos and able to film them. I can't get up close. I can't get to the shores of the Salt Lake. You have to remain on the pavement while the flamingos are out there. Once the flamingos leave, then you can get out to the actual Salt Lake, which is a good policy, actually. That's a good thing that they don't allow people to get up close to the flamingos. But let me zoom in and let's see if we can get a better shot of the beautiful flamingos here. Okay, let's talk about some news. So I'm not very prepared today as we talk about some news, but I think we'll make a good video, even though I don't really have my talking points and bookmarks set up yet. But we do have some big news, and that is the Taiwan elections and the ruling DPP party. They will be in government again. I think this is the third term that they will be in government in Taiwan. And they won the elections. I guess you could say they won the elections with 40% of the vote. And that is down from 57%. So the anti-China, and this is the anti-China party, they actually are losing support, even though they will be able to form a government. From what I understand, this is another coalition umbrella victory that has taken place in Taiwan for a pro-West coalition umbrella, and that's how they're going to remain in power. Even though the pro-Chinese party actually got the most seats in parliament. In the 113 seats in parliament, the KMT, which is the Beijing-friendly opposition, they came out with 52 seats, and they're now the largest party. But they weren't able to get into coalition, I guess, is what I'm taking away from this story. I haven't really been able to dig into the election story yet, but I imagine that the KMT was not able to form an umbrella-like coalition in these elections. So while they're the biggest party with 52 seats of 113 seats, the DPP went from 57 to 40 seats to 40%, 57% to 40%. But the anti-China party will be in government. They'll be forming a government. So that's the story out of Taiwan. And the former vice president is now going to be the new leader of Taiwan. And from what I understand, he is super anti-China. Lai Ching-te from the Democratic Progressive Party. He now has the top job. So a lot of the Collective West media, they're reporting this as some sort of a defeat for China and some sort of message to China that Taiwan is not interested in unification, reunification, integration with China, and they clearly want to pursue the path of the collective West, democracy, freedom, and values. Right? That's the message that they're sending to the dictator known as Xi Jinping. But when you look at the trend is actually saying the exact opposite of what the collective West media is running with and what they're going to be running with in regards to the Taiwan elections. The trend is the anti-China sentiment is going down, 57% to 40%. That's a pretty steep drop for the DPP, for the anti-China party. Anyway, that is the election in Taiwan, and that could possibly be the future new front for another conflict. So we always got to keep an eye on what's happening in Taiwan and in China. How many more conflicts can the United States, the Biden White House, the collective West take on? Well, there was one interview where Biden said, we're America. We can take on many conflicts. There's people actually walking around here. So where's the security? Huh. Okay. Interesting. Well, if they're getting up close, I guess I can get closer. So we'll do a couple of more stories, and we'll wrap this video up. So there are reports that the person who was the real mastermind behind the bombing of Yemen, the missile strikes against Yemen, was none other than Lord Cameron. Yep. Lord Cameron. He's the person that put together the missile strikes towards Yemen. He got this coalition together. He's the one that pushed for this, got the messaging put together, and this was all Lord Cameron's handiwork. One of the men who was behind Libya, the destruction of Libya, along with Hillary Clinton, and who was it? Sarkozy at the time. I think it was Sarkozy and not Hollande. But yeah, he's now the man who is pushing for escalation in Yemen. Libya veteran Cameron central to attacks on Yemen. British Foreign Secretary David Cameron's experience of launching airstrikes against Libya, Syria, and Iraq while he was Prime Minister helped him manage the UK's most recent attacks against the Houthis in Yemen on Thursday, iNews reported on Friday. Cameron reportedly helped assemble the group that struck nearly 30 sites in Yemen, using over 150 bombs, along with the Defense Secretary Grant Shapps and Deputy Prime Minister Oliver Dowden, a senior U.S. official told the outlet. Yeah. Now we understand why he was made a lord and why he was appointed to the position of foreign minister. It's all very, very clear now, isn't it? So the Houthis, they have come out with statements. Yemen has come out with statements saying that the United States and the UK, they want war. Well, we'll give them war. That's pretty much what they have said now. This is after the second strike that took place yesterday, and the military in Yemen. These guys are tough. And it's going to be a very difficult war with Yemen that the U.S. and the U.K. are about to undertake. So, Cameron, Lord Cameron, What else should we talk about here, since we're on the subject of European leaders talking up war and escalation? The new French foreign minister, who is the husband or the former husband? I think he's the former husband, to be honest. I think I read that they broke up. The former husband of the new prime minister of France. This guy came out with a statement, and he said that France is going to continue to support Ukraine for as long as it takes, for as long as it takes, or as long as we feel like it. That's what this new foreign minister said. Ukraine is and will remain France's priority. The defense of the fundamental principles of international law is being played out in Ukraine. This is what he said during a meeting with Ukraine Foreign Minister Kuleba. Russia is hoping that Ukraine and its supporters will tire before it does. We will not weaken. This is the message that I am carrying here to the Ukrainians. Our determination is intact. Sejorn, that's what this guy's name is. Sejorn. Stefan Sejorn. He announced a new phase of defense cooperation with the aim of strengthening Ukraine's capacity to produce the weapons it needs on its own territories. Yeah, the nonsense, the stupidity and nonsense of Ukraine becoming a big weapons producer. I wonder if people are actually believing this, if people actually buy this ridiculous story that these bozos are pushing out. So we got rid of the one bozo in France. That bozo left, and now she's been replaced by a different bozo, a younger bozo, who's saying the same exact lines. I mean, basically what he said is what Sunak said yesterday in Kiev. Putin thinks he can outlast us, but he's wrong. We're going to outlast Putin. We're going to outlast Russia. Our determination remains intact. Bozos. These guys are, not only are they losing, but they're playing right into Russia's hands. The slower this war goes, the longer this war drags on, the faster the collective West collapses. It's that freaking simple. The former Polish Prime Minister, Mr. Morawiecki, he admitted that Ukraine's strategy was a failure. Now that he's not Prime Minister, he can admit these things. Ukraine's 2023 counteroffensive was not successful, and Russia has the upper hand strategically, former Polish Prime Minister Morawiecki admitted in an interview with Britain's Express newspaper published on Friday. The conflict in Ukraine is not going in the right direction, Morawiecki told the outlet, outlining the huge concern with the situation in which Moscow had apparently outflanked its opponents. They're just realizing this now, huh? They outflanked us. They outsmarted you. They defeated you in the counteroffensive. They absolutely defeated NATO's most powerful proxy. That's true. But where was this talk from Morawiecki 3 months ago or 6 months ago? He was all hyped up about the big super duper counteroffensive. He was talking all kinds of smack about how the counteroffensive was gonna lead to the capture of Crimea and the fall of the Putin. Now that he's not in office, and his Law and Justice was replaced by the super uber EU-friendly Donald Tusk, even though Law and Justice kissed up to the EU when it came to Project Ukraine. And one of the reasons that Law and Justice was defeated is because they, in my opinion, is because they put Project Ukraine above everything else. Now Morawiecki, he's talking about how we were outflanked. I just didn't realize it, but Russia has huge resources, he said. They have huge resources, and they're just bigger and more powerful than we ever imagined. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that? It's a shame he didn't realize this 6 months ago, so he could a year ago so he could tell Zelensky to just agree to a ceasefire. Now, all of a sudden, he's had a revelation that Russia's powerful and Russia's winning. The counteroffensive is a failure. As Alexander says, they never want to say that Russia defeated them. They can't use the word defeat. Russia defeated us. They can't use that word. They outflanked us. Do I have any more stories here? The New York Post, they're running with an article with the title, Red Sea Bungling Will Cost Biden the 2024 Election. Yeah. This is not helping his re-election, everything that he's doing in the Red Sea. That's for sure. Did you guys see the protests in D.C. yesterday? And they actually approached the White House fences, and they started like throwing stuff at some of the police. Yeah, there's no way that that Biden's going to get reelected with this type of foreign policy. People are angry, but he's still the guy that they're going to be running, and they're still hoping to dispose of Trump with some lawfare and indictments and removing from the ballot and all of these democratic things, right? The democracy of of the U.S. when it comes to Trump. Remove your opposition. Remove your opposition from the ballots. Try to put your opposition in prison. That's how they're going to try and get Biden into the White House. And if all else fails, well, I guess they can run with Michelle Obama or Gavin Newsom, a last-minute audible. So let's do, I don't know if this is a clown world or not, but let's do one more story. And that has to do with Rand Paul, and he put out a video the other day, and he didn't endorse a candidate. He didn't endorse Trump. He didn't endorse Vivek or anything like that. But in the video, he did speak about who should not be president of the United States and who should not win the ticket for the Republican candidate for president, and that is Nikki Haley. Rand Paul said that Nikki Haley should stay very, very far away from the levers of power. I believe the term he used was never Nikki, or hashtag never Nikki. And he's urging all voters, all American voters, Republicans, do not vote for Nikki Haley. And he's right. And I'm glad he made that video. And I hope that video gets a lot of distribution and that the voters in the Republican Party and in the U.S. that are going to be voting in this Republican primary, I hope that they be rid of Nikki Haley. We don't want her anywhere near the White House. So that was Rand Paul, and I think that's the video. The Duran.locals.com, Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and what else? And we got some new merch coming soon. And I think I will end this video there. Understand what's going on. Take care.